We're talking about ballet history today for World Ballet Day. Where did ballet originate? Number 1, Italy. Number 2, France. Number 3, Russia. What do you think? Italy, France, or Russia? Talking about where did ballet originate? So ballet originated in Italy. I know Russia is and still huge with ballet. You know, some of the best ballet dancers are from Russia. France also big influence in ballet, but originally ballet did start in Italy, and it's not the same type of ballet that you think now. Now, you know, you have the tutus, you have the point shoes. Back then, when it first started, was everyone was wearing these long, heavy dresses. They wouldn't be wearing leotards back then. And they had these heels, lower heels. They didn't wear point shoes yet. They had these heels that they were wearing, and this was a dance for the courts. So think about Renaissance Italy. Imagine you're in Italy, in the royal courts, where kings and dukes and duchesses dance, and they have parties for the nobles, the wealthy people. Ballet is originally for the wealthy. It's an aristocratic form of art originally. And so they had these big, heavy costumes and heeled shoes, and so they have very minimal movement, right? Ballet started in the 1500s, so this was like 500 years ago. And then back then they didn't have like airplanes, they didn't have technology, they didn't have social media. They couldn't be like, hey, what's this? I found this, you were doing like a double tour, where'd you learn that? It was like you needed someone or some person, some way to spread this art form to other countries, or else in that period of time, it was just in the 1500s, it was just in Italy, in the courts. But then Catherine de Medici, she was an Italian noblewoman. She married and went to France. She married into the French royal family. And then she brought over the Italian dance ballet style to France. And that's how it spread around Europe, slowly but surely. And it's not instant like it is now. You know, you can't just pick up your phone, scroll through Instagram, be like, oh, cool, what are they doing here? They're in Europe, they're in Africa, they're in, you know, all these different places. Back then it was more gradual. The word ballet, what language is that from? Is it a German word? Is it a French word? Ballet. Or is it an Italian word? What do you think? Answer. Thank you for the likes, guys. Welcome. We're talking ballet history if you're joining now. And drum roll. Oh, French. Okay. Final answer. Are you okay? Italian? Okay. Yes, it is Italian. The word balletti, I don't know if I'm saying it right, I'm so sorry. It originally, that's the word they were using for these pieces, and it comes from the word ballare, which means to dance in Italian. So sorry if I'm botching the pronunciation. And so it originally comes from Italian word, so ballare, balletti, and then ballet. We call it ballet now. Next question. I have a question for you. What was the first ever ballet company? What was the first ever ballet company in the whole world? Number 1, do you think it was Mariinsky Ballet? Number 2, do you think it was the Royal Ballet? Number 3, do you think it was American Ballet Theater, ABT? Number 4, do you think it was Paris Opera Ballet? Oh, Mariinsky, okay. Anyone else want Paris? Question mark? Paris Opera Ballet? Yes, you're right, Paris Opera Ballet. That was the first ever ballet company, first ever ballet school also. Back then they called it the Royal Academy of Dance. This was founded in 1669. 1669. In the 1600s, so like 400 years ago, the King of France, King Louis the 14th, 14th, remember? King Louis the 14th, remember that one. If you do ballet, you want to remember him because he is the one that basically created structure for ballet. Before that, it was kind of like a court dance. And from King Louis the 14th's time, he loved ballet from when he was a little boy. He is the one that actually started creating story ballets, making more facial expressions, creating a story ballet. He even made himself the lead for all his ballet productions. And this is when the 5 ballet positions started. You know, first position, second position, third position, fourth, and fifth. That's when they started adding structure to ballet and, you know, naming steps. And so that's why the ballet terminology, all the words, the steps in ballet are French. So the word ballet derives from an Italian word. However, the structure, the steps, everything else is French, because King Louis the 14th, he is the one that really wanted to solidify this as an art form that he created. He's the one that created the first ballet school. He's the one that created the first ballet company, like we said, Paris Opera Ballet. And you know what? Back then, did you know that the performances, all ballet performances were only for males? So it was not for females. Only males could perform these ballets. Isn't that crazy? I mean, if you think about it now, it's like, how does that happen? But yeah, back then it wasn't something that females were allowed to do. It was only for men, you know, kind of like maybe horseback riding. Back then only males could. Yeah, it was only for men. And even when there was a female role within the ballet, they had a male cover his face with a mask, and he would perform as a female. So it's kind of like, do you know Japanese kabuki? Kabuki is also only for males, even still to this day. And men perform as females. So there are females perform female roles and males that perform male roles. Anyway, back then, ballet was for men. And then that ballet was also, do you hear the dog barking outside? Sorry about that. He also created etiquette, manners to go along with ballet as well, because this was a court dance. This was for the nobles. He was teaching society, the French people, how to behave, how to what politeness is, what manners are, what etiquette is, what to do, what not to do within society. And this created a structure within France. And they say that he believed that this was his theory, that if the noblemen were too busy trying to learn about the right etiquette to do, then they wouldn't overthrow the government. King Louis the 14th, remember him? He was the one that really spread and created structure for ballet. And you know what? He was also called the Sun King. The sun, like the sun, Sun King. He dubbed himself that, the Sun King. He named it himself. He thought that he was kind of the center of... He thought himself as a god, like a divine person, because he was a king. And he thought that the kingdom, everyone, revolved around him, just like the planets revolve around the sun, right? So remember that as well. King Louis the 14th, Sun King. So yeah, before that, men only did ballet. In the 17th century, though, women started to be able to do performances in ballet. 18th century, you know, it was more hot for females to be the stars of ballet. The roles kind of flipped, because you see the females dancing in front of the males lifting the females to showcase her lines, to accommodate the female, and it became more about the girls, the females, the ballerinas. And then they started to shorten their tutus, they started wearing point shoes, and they started making more longer full-length ballets, and the dances became more technical. Before that, it was more modified movement, smaller, because they're wearing all these long, huge dresses. It's more just feet, you know, feet, arms, look here, facial expressions. And then when they started wearing the tutus and the tutus started getting shorter, then they were allowed to kind of, you know, showcase their legs, do some arabesque and lift the legs really high and start turning and jumping and doing all these fancy tricks that you see now. That you see now when you see ballet. Oh, you're on point. Oh, you do pirouettes. Oh, you do arabesque. Oh, you do grand saut de chat. All these things, they started to become more and more evolved. So ballet has been evolving since the 1500s. And you know what? Ballet came to the United States in the 1900s by immigrants. They came to America because immigrants from Europe were coming to America. Isn't that so cool? So maybe you have someone in your family that... Are we all from the United States here? Maybe not. We're from all over. But Capezio was also born in this way too. Capezio was founded by Salvatore Capezio, and he was actually studying shoemaking, repairing shoes as a cobbler in Italy. And then he immigrated to America, to New York, and he started this small shoe repair store in New York City in 1887. How long ago is that? 134 years ago. That's insane. Can you imagine just leaving your home country and going off to another country and starting life from scratch? Just thinking about that is just, I'm in awe, because it's also not the same as what we have now. You don't just, even if you... I'm originally from Japan, but thinking about just picking up everything, leaving your hometown, your home country, your language, the people you know, your family, your friends, and then just going off to another country where you don't know. You don't have internet back then. You don't have a phone back then. You don't have connections. You can't just go to New York and then expect to know people. You have to start from zero. And so he started a shoe repair store in New York City in 1887, 134 years ago. And he began repairing shoes. And he started to repair shoes for the New York Met. And then he started becoming the official shoemaker for New York Met. So starting off as a shoe cobbler, repairing shoes, and then started producing shoes. And that's what we're seeing now, the evolution of Capezio. 134 years of shoemaking, shoe crafting, all these shoes that we have on our feet. Beautiful shoes. These beautiful shoes. I'm trying to find my pair for you. These are my lovely Capezio shoes. I cut the inside out so usually the Capezio logo is here, so you can't see that. Oh, it's right here. Capezio. So, you know, all these shoes that we have, there's a history behind it. There's people that have left their homes to immigrate to the United States. So, you know, they have a dream to start this this shoemaker, and they develop these amazing shoes for us dancers, and then they're handcrafted. You know how much time it takes to even craft one shoe, and then we're so honored to be able to wear these amazing shoes that were specifically designed to dance in, to stand on our toes, to be able to look our best. Even the leotard that we have now, Capezio launched the first modern day version of what we call a leotard now. So even just thinking about what we're wearing through our dance classes, on stage, on our feet, on our bodies, I think it's always so humbling to think about the work that other people have put in to create an amazing shoe, to create an amazing leotard. And even just focusing your thought on that, away from yourself and away from all these things that are going on in the world, just focusing on an amazing shoe that was created for us. I think that keeps us so grateful, so humble, and I think that we can use that to evolve with our own dancing, to strengthen ourselves mentally, emotionally, to, motivate ourselves to be inspired by these amazing shoes, amazing dance wear. And that's just a thought of the day, a thought of World Ballet Day.